Welcome back. We have a match from the WCS Global Finals 2018. The WCS circuit once again clashes against Korea. We have two, well, fan favorite players, especially from their regions. In the bottom left, the German Terran. It is still, honestly, like, I don't know, people were surprised that he made it to BlizzCon, but he always does so well, but never quite makes it all the way. I don't know if this is his first time at BlizzCon, or I think he's been there before. He's always kind of the underdog, mostly because if you ever watch his stream, most of it is winning games and then complaining how bad Terran is. I love you, Heromarine. I'm sorry. But he's made it to BlizzCon, but he's facing up against one of the most sneaky. I'll use sneaky. Protoss is out there. A man who, if you had to describe his special talent, it's winning. He's never lost a BlizzCon, took 2 home, and already stealing Heromarine's gas, which overall isn't a huge deal for Terrans, and it doesn't seem like he really had any intent on needing that early. Heromarine built his barracks a little bit closer into the main, so maybe SOS thought it was a proxy if he didn't scout too far. Not a huge deal, just a little mind game there, I think. But SOS definitely belongs in the YOLO toss category, alongside players like Haz, that sometimes they'll just proxy a gate, or they'll make 50 charge lots, or they'll go blink DTs. I would love to see blink DTs. I don't think we're going to see blink DTs. But to start things off, it already is going to be some pressure. A Cyber Core before Nexus is the giveaway. Anytime you're getting a Cyber Core before... He scouted, too. It's not like, oh, I don't know what he's doing, gotta play it safe. No. He wants to get damage done. Is it... Could you... Why is this always such a struggle? Anyways. Still very quiet. I want that... This is... I'm gonna regret this later. Alright. The SCV trying to lead the Zealot astray, but it will not be deterred. Takes a while to walk across the map. The fact that there's a Zealot on the way at all is a bit of a giveaway. The expansion is scouted. Very important info for Heromarine. Knowing this isn't a full-on committed attack, he should be okay to just get the bunker. A little bit of stutter step back from the Marines. Will he actually finish the bunker? Oh, he's on hold position because it's so hard to target the SCVs, but the Marine trying to slip through the blades. Will be able to slip into the bunker. It does. And he's also done a lot of damage to the Zealot, so we'll be forced to retreat. Adept shades in. It can take advantage of the fact the bunker doesn't cover the whole area. He already pops the Marines out, but now it's not so much about what SOS is doing right now. It's about what comes next. A Twilight Council's on the way. Heromarine has adapted by getting the gas on the low ground, which is not supposed. You see, I knew what was going to happen, and I did it anyways.
Good. Now I have your attention.
A Widowmine on the edge. It still could be a star. Heromarine doesn't know exactly what it is here. This is the most ambiguous unit composition at the front. A Stalker, an Adept, and a Zealot, which means it's unlikely SOS is going to be coming out with, like, a Disruptor drop right off the bat. You don't quite have the gas for it, but it also means he's not committing to anything. A Viking is on the way. Actually bouncing the Adept around. The way the AI works is as long as they're a path, it will still try to take it, even if one of the depots is closed. So Heromarine trying to box in that Adept at the last second. Little fan. Like, at this stage of the game, we're not too worried. Is he just going to run by... What? There's a Widowmine, though. There's a Widowmine in the mineral line. That could be a big part of this. He's going to get the Stalker, the maximum possible damage here. And actually, suddenly, this all turns around. What was that? When was that ever going to do damage? Like, the only scenario where that was going to do real damage for SOS is if Heromarine was, like, going Hellions or teching up super quick. I don't think he realized that Widowmines were already on the field. So SOS just kind of loses all his units, which most people would consider not great. Heromarine does have his Viking, realizing now he probably doesn't need it that badly. Takes out the assimilator. Now, the thing is here, while SOS, well, there's a no, I thought that was a Widowmine drop, but a Reaper coming in. I don't actually think there's a medevac on the field. No, he went for the Viking first. Heromarine playing very safe, and SOS possibly taking advantage of that. That's a big scout there. He sees there's no second gas. He knows there are 2 forges coming up. That means there's a window. Even though Heromarine doesn't have that many units right now, he only has the 111, the Destiny Cloudfist production facilities. He has to put on pressure. He's essentially obligated to, because his production is not going to come online as quickly as SOS, so he needs to keep him in check. He's got the Liberator going to the north. That will be spotted out by an observer, but it will force SOS to split his weapons and his forces, not actually realizing this army is down here, maybe able to target down one Widowmine. He has Blink. Blink's to the back. Widowmine at the front. The Liberator is going to siege. SOS has warped nothing in. The Blink Stalkers doing their best, but the probes are going to be eating the brunt of the damage. There's danger from all sides. A recall comes through. It's not from the Stalkers here. It's from the Stalkers at the third. He's right underneath the Liberator. Blink's out of range for now. The rest of Heromarines units, the tank does survive. So overall, SOS deflecting, but not for free. He's taking damage. He lost 6 probes. He's now down in workers, 48 versus 38. He was forced to warp in even more Stalkers. Stalkers that don't stand up to a tank-based unit composition or just bio units in general. There's no way he's going to break into Heromarines base anytime soon. So SOS now, he has to go full economy. Do as much harass as you can, continue to pressure like he was with the Blink Stalkers, but now he's brought to the edge. He can't make another mistake. If he does, if he's out of position, if he uses his recall too early or too late, Heromarine will have the forces. He bought the time for the production now. He's got 3 racks online. He's got a 3rd CC. If SOS loses another set of units, or is simply just not in the right spot, the game just ends. Now, if Heromarine isn't able to find that angle, SOS does have some of the best units for taking advantage of a Terran army that isn't like right there. The Blink Stalkers come in. There's a tank in the main. Does he have the time to blink out? It's a relatively short cooldown. He's going to lose 1. Barely just 1 Stalker, but doing whatever he can to keep Heromarine in his base, and that confirms the army is back at home. If the tanks are back at home, he's not being threatened right now. SOS, the master of defensive offense. Right now, he didn't even start charge. Is that a mistake? Or is he just now realizing that? No, that's a mistake. Oh, it looks like he actually wanted to put on some pressure, but without charge, there's nothing to be done here. He's just going to lose those zealots. They're going to be kited down. The stutter step. SOS, under so much pressure, he didn't actually pick up the charge upgrade. The SCVs know that the Bio Army will deal with this. The Zealots, but not charge lots in the main. The War Prism looking very vulnerable. The Stalker's still finding an opportunity, but Heromarine knows if he just keeps it together long enough, he'll have a deadly force to move across the map with. The War Prism somehow survives for now, but the War Prism is on the Viking is on an intercept course. What happened here? He actually managed, the War Prism is taken out by the Viking, but he actually managed to force a relift at the command center. SOS is doing a lot with a little. But he's just trying to slow down Heromarine now. The tank, Stim isn't even done. He spent that long working on that low production, but now Heromarine has fully come online. He's got 5 racks. He's got Stim. Combat Shields has completed. 1-1 as well with +2 starting. Charge is going to be done for SOS, but he only has 54 probes, which means he can't just be throwing away Zealots. Scans for the 4th, scans for the Observer. Heromarine finds important information on both sides of it. SOS going to try to catch him, jump him off guard, but tanks are already sieged up. Stalkers blink forward. They'll get a hold of that depot. The units stim in. We're at even upgrades here. SOS doesn't have overwhelming army supply. If he can catch the army out or draw the Widowmines in, he's trying to now. The War Prism looking for an opportunity. Heromarine has actually... This is intentional. He's blocked it out, so that way it makes it so difficult to actually warp in and do damage. But charge lots coming in from both sides. The siege tanks doing their best from the high ground, but they take time to chew through all that armor and Guardian Shield. The Warp Prism has made its way into the main, instantly warping in. Heromarine will have to deal with this, but he's crushed the army at the front. This has to do a lot of damage here to Heromarines' economy and drag his army back. It will. There are some tanks in position. Heromarine leaving enough. He's going to clean up the Zealots. The War Prism. Where did the War Prism go? Oh, it's over here. The Blinkstalker's trying to come in, still finding some damage. SOS is now leading in the worker count, but he has nothing at home. He's just now warping in more Zealots, a sentry. There are charge lots everywhere. But once they're cleaned up, Heromarine can finally ball all the fingers of his defense into a fist and strike back. The Warp Prism goes down. That was the only thing keeping him at home. Heromarine with +2 finishing should be going forward. Now, there's always one more. The Zealot goes down. SOS gonna try to force out some stims, maybe pick off some extraneous units, but here comes Heromarine. 150 supply. He's gonna have +2/+1 just like his opponent. +2 armor's about to finish up. The army, he doesn't actually realize SOS is coming in from the back. Maybe the only angle. +2 armor finish. The charge lot's coming in from the angle he wasn't expecting. The Widowmines do not get what they need. The charge lots put him up against the wall. And SOS, once again, finds the angle. The Blinkstalker's not getting the medevac with units in it, but he's in full retreat. SOS finds the angle again. Like I said, his specialty is winning. More units dropping out. Somehow SOS is pushing back a larger army again. Picks up the tanks, keeps them safe. At some point, he's going to have to turn and fight. It's going to be at his third. Still, army supply in favor of Heromarine. SOS does have a 4th up. He's only got 3 gas geysers right now, so he's very reliant on the charge lots being in the right spot. He does find an opportunity for 3-3. A scan. Does Heromarine know about the 4th? He knows there has to be one by now, right? Heromarine getting his Ghost Academy, his Liberators. The tenuous lead he had when it came to army composition and upgrades, well, mostly army composition, is slipping. Oh. There is a bite-sized amount of Terran units on the map. SOS just roaming around, finds another one of the medevacs. Heromarine needs all his forces together to be able to fight SOS. SOS is relying on brute force. This kind of style with the medevacs split off in different directions with the Liberators, that works against a Protoss who's really relying on tech units, like Disruptors or Templar, because then SOS is the player who needs to have his army together, and that can be picked apart. But SOS is playing almost like a Terran in making... He's not going for Templar. He's not going for Disruptors. He's going for brute force. He can just have a dozen charge slots wherever he needs to, because he's not investing in those splash damage units. Now, in the long term, against especially a maxed out Terran army, you just don't have the stopping power that you do if you have like Storm or Disruptors or anything like that. But in dealing with those small groups of units, it's definitely a lot easier as a Protoss. Heromarine finds an observer. SOS has just been... The map, he's been roaming around like it's his own backyard. Despite the fact Heromarines' army has been so fearsome. We just go for it. He pops the Guardian Shield. The EMPs, where are they? They hit the Zealots. Great angle for the bio here. Still, some Widowmines not quite connecting. Oh, beautiful Widowmine hits. Clear out the Immortals. Once again, that's what happens when the full Terran army... It wasn't even in a good spot. It wasn't even ready for that engagement. But... he's still able to take a resounding victory. With the Widowmines and EMPs, there's no way SOS can compete heads up. The only upside for SOS is that happened on Heromarine's side of the map. A few Widowmines are taken down by the ever-present Blinkstalkers. Heromarine is drying up, though. He's losing mineral patches in his main and his net. The third base, not too healthy either. At some point, he's going to have to lift to a new one. SOS just keeps expanding now. Heromarine needs to find a way to pick a fight. That's all. Like, you saw how well that went. Even the Blinkstalkers can't stand up. There's 1 or 2 Marauders. +3/+2 is about to finish. Now is the time. It's felt like the time for several minutes now. Even some boys with the army here. I don't even know if Heromarine realizes he has those, but the boys are pulled. He is kind of... this is almost a 3-base all-in here. There's no ghosts with the army. Kind of an awkward angle. Some force fields used. That means no Guardian Shield as of yet. The Liberator's moving forward. The charge bots finally are unleashed. The Widow Mines coming in. They will connect on mostly the Zealots and not the Bio Army. Another round of reinforcements is required for SOS to hold the line. The charge bot from the north. He finds another Immortal. The SCVs! The SCVs aren't in the fight! They need to be on the front lines! But the Widow Mines will connect as well. The Medevacs doing what they do best. A Warp Prism being used. Another Liberator comes up. The boys were not quite pulled in time. Heromarine working forward, cancels the Warp in, continues to chase. He's tearing through all the units, but on the other side, the charge lots find a base empty. I'm not even sure there were any SCVs here, but the Liberation Zones, he's out of SCVs. He's got to be very careful not to get flanked. The Stalkers, they blink, and he targets them down. There's still a Liberator. He rings them around the Freedom Zone. Heromarine continuing to stim forward. The Medevac's nearly out of energy, but he still has a couple. More Zealots warping it. Well, actually make that Stalkers. In this case, he wants to whittle down these bio units. Another round of reinforcements coming in. Blinks in, almost takes out the Liberator in one shot. Heromarine holding the line for now. The Widow Mine's at the back. The Medevac's very exposed, but so is the Protoss army. 14 probes went down with this. Warps and charge lots right in his face. All the Medevacs are exposed to Blink Stalkers now. He should be able to pick off at least one more, maybe more. 14 probes, but that leaves him with 52, and Heromarine, he can drop mules. He's on life support. The upgrade's 3-3 against 3-2. He actually has +1 as well. Not a single base died. SOS still has workers. Heromarine, not quite. It was a great attack with good micro. But the boys were pulled, but they didn't fight. They're there to be in the front line, to eat the charges. But they were lazy in the back line. Fearful. And now Heromarine has lost all the important tech in his army. He has to rebuild it to fight again. We're talking Liberators, Ghosts, Widow Mines. It looks like we're going to be lifting to another base. SOS already has a Zealot there. Notice how he's just not building probes. I need every single warp in the brute force. Heromarine still maintains... oh no, the Ghosts. At one point, there was the lead Heromarine had was in unit composition, and just the ability. He had an equal supply army, or maybe even slightly better, that always would win heads up. That is no longer true. SOS has so many charge lots. Not quite. He just SOS. He's bluffing. He was bluffing the whole game. He runs around the map with an army that has less supply and worse upgrades, or at least even upgrades. And then suddenly, Heromarine just never found the opportunity to move out. Charge lots streaming in. So goddamn many of them. Do we have the EMPs? EMP's not quite connecting here. He has them up the back line. They're on the Stalkers, but he's got to get through the charge lots first. He's grinding through them a single force field. I'm not sure what that's about. The Terran units are thinning out. You can hear the Ghost dying. Punctuating the match. GG. SOS. I honestly think he was just bluffing the whole game. He's a poker player. That whole match, at least the majority of it, SOS would lose a fight. But the way he was playing, just roaming around the map, always made it seem like at any moment, like Heromarine was scared to move out, because if he moves out and then the army is right there, or at backstabs or at base trades, because in a straight-up fight, the Terran wins. The only problem here was SOS kept getting the drop on Heromarine, and almost, I would call it almost too careful.
Good. Now I have your attention.
Not to criticize a player many exponentially better times than myself, but almost too careful. As in, he was always like, okay, make sure I have my Liberators and I have all my Widow Mines. It's like, at some point, you just got to attack. But that point was a little bit too late, and SOS was able to put it off until he finally had the forces he needed.
Good. Now I have your attention.
Make sure to like this video if you think that charge lots are easy and that Protoss should be removed, and Terran is the only race that requires skill, and the only reason you can't get out of the Diamond League as a Terran player is because of imbalance and hackers. I can't like that video. Oh, that's for YouTube. All right, you gotta I gotta. It's called multitasking. I gotta use less actions. So cast the game once on Twitch, but it also ends up on YouTube. So it's just called efficiency. That's the word. I figured it.